Did your confidence in the Chiefs go up or down with their 3-point win over Atlanta yesterday?
Confidence went up. I don't think your confidence can be down on the Kansas City Chiefs, man, as long as they got 15 behind the center, Andy Reid on the sideline calling the plays. Like, I knew this game was going to be tough yesterday. I knew the Falcons was going to compete and be competitive. They have a lot to play for over there. It's a lot at stake for a lot of players and coaches over there, so they got to give forth their best effort. But for the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, as long as 15, is out there, I mean, sometimes he don't even need players around him, effectively to win football games. He can do it on his own. If that was him in versus Baker Mayfield yesterday with practice squad receivers, he would have found a way to pull it out. That's how good he is. So, the Kansas City Chiefs, whether they're winning by a small margin or large margin, it don't matter how you win. This is about winning in the National Football League, and that's what they put on full display. I do think they punched their ticket to the AFC Championship game yesterday just by winning, getting that number 1 seed, and this team's going to be hard to beat. So I look forward to progression, not regression for this team.
Well, listen, the small margins of victory is obviously going to hurt them in the eyes of the selection committee when they're figuring out who the playoff teams are in the. Oh, that's not how the NFL works? Oh, it's just record? And they lock that up? No, then they're fine. No, my confidence went up for this reason and this reason only. They came out of the game healthy. The Chiefs are playing right now. They're wilds. I get it. I understand the predicament that folks are in. The Chiefs have won 23 of 24 games. They've played 5 playoff teams. They're undefeated against those teams. The one team that seemed to actually have figured something out about them, the Raiders, is not going to be in the postseason. So now we have to create ways to add intrigue when there is none. The only way there's going to be intrigue about who's coming out of the AFC is if a major player for the Chiefs gets hurt. So every game that they get through clean injury-wise, my confidence raises. So wilds to me, my confidence went up because Mahomes healthy, Kelsey healthy, Tyreek Hill's healthy, no significant defenders got hurt. So yeah, I'm feeling good about that, even though it was closer than people would have liked.
Okay, Brandon, tell me I'm crazy here and back me up since you played and I never did. I mean, I played a few games. I played a few games for the Patriots, but we're not going to. Okay, there seems to be.
You didn't even know who was on your soccer team.
No, that's a fair point. There seems to be a difference in the way that the Chiefs were winning games where it felt like no matter what the other team did, the Chiefs were going to steamroll you. But in these last 2 weeks, if A.J. Terrell catches the ball and just holds on to it, taking it to the ground, they lose. And although it's earlier in the game, if the Saints guy doesn't just falls on the ball so it's a touchdown rather than a safety, that changes the outcome of that game. So to me, I don't think it's an outlandish statement to say, wow, you guys are winning, Chiefs are winning because of errors on the other team, unforced errors on the other team, versus just steamrolling a squad.
Well, that goes back to the Baker Mayfield conversation. This is why I don't understand why Nick Wright doesn't get it, right? Every possession, every play matters, right? Because if those guys come down with that ball, the Chiefs lose the game. Now, let me answer this question. My confidence hasn't changed and it hasn't wavered. This team is really good, and you got to think about this is the defending champions, and you're going to get everyone's best shot week in and week out across the board, not just segment versus segment, team versus team, meaning offense versus defense, offense, special teams. I'm talking about defensive coordinators are going to give Andy Reid and those guys their best shot. Why? Because that's their moment to show the NFL that I'm deserving in being the guy or the head coach, right? The linebackers, safeties are going to give Travis Kelce their best shot. Cornerback safeties is going to give their wide receivers their best shot. So, no, I'm not surprised. 7 games in a row winning by 6 or fewer points. This is anticipated. We talked about that earlier. The Chiefs are going to have the flair. The Chiefs are going to be explosive come the playoff time. There's only one team in the AFC that can contend against the Chiefs, and that's the Buffalo Bills, because on the offensive side, they can move the ball the same way the Chiefs can. Number one is the Chiefs. Number two is the Buffalo Bills. And then on the defensive side, that blueprint that you talked about, Nick, from the Las Vegas Raiders, they also have it in Buffalo. They're able to play a lot of zone and get to the quarterback rushing 3, sometimes 4, and they can play one-on-one and mix it up a little bit on those critical downs like 3rd and short.
And maybe the Bills will have more luck in Kansas City than the game that was played a few weeks ago in Buffalo, where the Bills were never really in it. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be a better road team than a home team. Listen, folks, they've scored the second most points in football. They've allowed the 7th fewest points in football. The only team with a better margin of victory over the course of the year. We're talking about margin of victory. Oh, okay. So that's an important stat all of a sudden. So let's see who has the best margin of victory in the NFL. It's actually the Ravens, who the Chiefs trounced. The Chiefs are second to them by 2 points. They're 14-1, and everyone else in football at best has 3 losses. By the way, as an added bonus, they're the defending champs, and they have the unanimously considered best player in the sport. And what we have been reduced to is saying, well, they went into a game where the 1 seed was already locked up. They locked it up with 2 weeks to play, and they seemed unmotivated. So unmotivated, midway through the first quarter, they're running pirouette single wing passes to their quarterback. And we're like, oh, I really think the Chiefs were giving them your best shot. You do? Because I don't. And they ran this in the first quarter of a tie game because they are bored. Wilds, you're a huge NBA fan. You know who they are. They're the 2018 Warriors. It's like, okay, we got to go through the motions here. Except 2018 Warriors didn't finish with the best record in basketball. These guys are going to. Like, as long as they get out healthy, they're fine. Now, they might be costing Mahomes the MVP. We'll see. But as long as they're healthy, they're the overwhelming favorites.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.